we talked a little bit about how you work on the music itself, but the characters in your albums, do you approach them like a novelist, kind of where you have an idea when you begin, or did they evolve as the songs themselves unfold?
Everything evolves. It's baby steps. Really, when I start, I have a lot of plans, but I never stick to the plans. It changes all the time. The characters is weird. As I said, I finish the music first, then I figure out a concept. Okay, what is it going to be about? Then I'm going to pick the singers that I think will fit the concept. Who will, if I do science fiction, for instance, I know there will be certain singers who are like, hey, science fiction doesn't belong in music. So then I pick the singers, and I adapt the characters to the singers. So it's weird. A good example is my third album, Into the Electric Castle. It has a Highlander, and it's Fish of Marillion. It wasn't like I have a Highlander in my story, so now I got to find someone from Scotland, because that would limit me, you know? It's the other way around. I had Fish. I said, okay, what kind of character would you like to play in this story? Because anything is possible. And he was like, a Highlander, you know? As a big fan of the movie at that point, I guess. So yeah, I adapt the characters in my story to the singers. And yeah, to answer your question, it changes from day to day. So I constantly adapt. Is the singer not available? Okay, I'll change the lyrics. Really, it's baby steps from the beginning.
Yeah, but that's an interesting approach, because there are some people who like, when they're weaving together such complex, multi-perspective narratives across an album, there'd be a temptation to outline them like a screenplay, or to have them come about more organically. But in this case, it almost seems as if you're saying you start with the music and then you go, okay, which voice complements the music? Okay, now what is the best subject matter for this voice to sing? Am I getting that right?
Yeah, totally.
It seems like a very different approach than a lot
of people
think.
It is, and I had to learn that, because my first two albums that we talked about, Final Experiment and Action Fantasy, I didn't have that. I had the story. This is the story, and I have to stick to this story, and the singers have to stick to my melodies. I was really strict in that until I started working with singers like Fish or like Bruce Dickinson, who don't give a shit what I say, you know, or they don't care what kind of melody I send them, you know, they're going to do their thing. And I hear that it's way better than all the ideas I had. So I really had to learn to open myself up to that, open myself up to change, not sticking to the original idea. Let the change come if it makes the project better.
You've collaborated with so many vocalists. Can you think of an instance where a singer's performance kind of changed the direction of a character or moment in a story that you went, okay, mid-flight, you're gonna, make some changes to accompany?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's why I want the singers in my studio, which is getting harder and harder, you know. Nowadays with the internet, you just send each other files, and it's so much easier, and most of all, so much cheaper. But so far, I managed to get them all to my studio. And that's so important, you know, because you keep changing things. When they're standing next to me, hey, this doesn't work. You grab the guitar, try a harmony, try to sing this lower, and even change lyrics. You know, when I work with people like Russell Allen, for instance, of Symphony X, he has so many good ideas, and so yeah, that definitely happens. But yeah, like I said, it happens less because nowadays it's more. People don't have time anymore also, you know, or they're touring or whatever. So they prefer to just do it in their own studio and send me the file, you know. It saves a lot of time, of course.
Yeah, it does, but there's certain things that just don't translate quite the same
No,
way, right? I mean, there's something to be said for, being in the studio and being able to, like you said, just either walk to the other room on the other side of the glass and have a conversation and
yeah,
you go, oh, how about if we did this? What if we did that? You know what I mean? It's different, and your ability to
totally,
work in real time.
totally. And not even glass. I want them standing next to me constantly, and there's even some singers, they watch my arms, if they see the goosebumps come up, that's it gives them extra inspiration. No, I want them next to me. I don't have all these rules. It's just that my studio is just my bedroom, basically, or a bedroom, with a computer, and I don't have all these stuff on the walls to make it acoustically perfect. That's not what it's about for me. I just want that singer next to me, and if there's a little bit of reverb or you hear me making some noises, it doesn't matter.
So you play so many instruments and produce so much yourself. How do you know when a song is done? Is it tough to know when to stop layering?
No, not at all. No. I know. I really it's tougher, I think, to take stuff away to kill your darlings, which you have to do at some point. If you have too many ideas, then you got three synthesizers going and a flute and a cello. It's like, no, I want this to be acoustic. Let's erase the synthesizers, delete the synthesizers. But they sound really great. Yeah, but the cello and the violin, they're real organic instruments. And so, yeah, I know. I simply know.
Instinctively.
It's instinctively, yes. Yeah, I don't have many talents. No, really. I'm not an amazing singer or an amazing guitar player or an amazing this but I do see the big picture. That's my strength. I know if I invite a singer, I know it's gonna work. If I have the story for the music, I know the story will fit the music, and instinctively I feel when a song is ready. That's never been hard for me.
You mentioned compromises in a band setting
Oh yeah.
before. With so much control over your process now, do you ever miss working in a traditional band setting? I mean, is there any additional magic to it, or was it that limiting to you that you don't miss it at all?
Not for me. I hated it. I hated it. All those songs we wrote with the band in the rehearsal room, they're terrible. You know, but having said that, Lennon, McCartney, Page, Plant, Gilmore, Waters, it is possible. I've just not experienced. Maybe I'm just too much of a control freak. But yeah, if you look at the solo stuff with the Beatles, I mean, it can't compare with what they did together, and totally the same goes for Gilmore and Waters. You need that combination, and but no, I don't have that at all. I'm like, oh, I can do my own thing, and total control freak.